Let's roll. Hey, welcome back to the IgnitionTube podcast that still does not have a name. I'm Eli.
I'm Alex.
And today we're going to be talking about dad cars. Now, we figured it'd be a good idea to segment this so we don't just jump straight to the super expensive stuff. We're going to talk about dad cars under $30,000, dad cars under $60,000, and then we'll finish out with our thoughts on $100,000. Now, I've gone ahead and written down a couple ideas in my phone, but I think Alex and I have some general thoughts to start with for dad cars. Let's roll. Cool. $30K. My suggestion for $30,000, I'll let you start because I told you I had a wild card for $30K.
Sure. So, well, first off, and I'm going to preface this with just my own opinion on what I think a dad car should be, and I'm sure many of you will disagree, and please, I invite you to put that in the comments section. But personally, if I was a father and I had $30K to spend on a car, or even whatever, I just don't see myself getting anything other than an SUV for rather safety reasons, practical. You can fit the stroller in the back, etc. So what I'm going to say for my $30K is I would probably go down a similar path to you and maybe get an SQ5, or if I couldn't get an SQ5, maybe just a Q5 with a 3.0T in there. And then, that leaves some room on the table for some dual pulley action and test pipes. But hey, your kid's still going to be safe and he's going to get there quickly.
Absolutely. And I guess there definitely are SQ5s under $30K. You're probably looking at a higher mileage one. I know you're a little bit of a mileage freak, so I think if that was your situation, you'd probably end up in a Q5.
Yep, most likely.
But then you lose the seats, and I guess there's a trade-off there. Do you want the nice seats? Do you want the nice-looking car, or do you want the lower mileage with? I mean, it's all the same motor, same transmission.
Exactly, and there's many different ways to look at it, many different opinions is from everyone's different preferences. But for me, like you said, I'm kind of a mileage freak. Would probably like to get maybe a 14 or a 15 Q5 3.0T, maybe a 16, and it would be a pretty good example, I think, for a father.
So I looked down the path of A6s, which are cool, but they're not really performance oriented. It's a nice car. Don't get me wrong. My father has one. It's awesome. I looked down. I was thinking about 535s, although you may run into some reliability issues because it's a BMW. And I think both of us are really thinking German. There's going to be a couple American cars in the mix for sure. Neither of us really are big on JDM cars, so you probably won't hear a suggestion there. Would you do that? Wait, you were talking about Kia.
Well, kind of off topic, I should say. For those who don't know, the Kia Optima has one of the options you can get is a 2.0T motor, so 2-liter inline-4 turbo. Turns out with just a simple tune and some bolt-ons, those things make stupid power, and you would smoke everything, for the most part on the street there in a Kia Optima. So that's kind of cool.
Is that a dad car? Oh, making another appearance.
Yeah.
Is that a dad car?
I'm going to go with no, because I don't see the practicality as much in there. And, there's plenty of people that'll disagree with me, but when I think about dad, I think about carrying the stroller. I think about getting groceries and everything all being able to fit in the trunk and just practical.
So bag the Kia. Anyway, so what I was saying is you're probably not going to hear many JDM suggestions from us. We just don't really think of those cars. But my suggestion for under $30,000 for a dad car, E55 AMG.
Wow. That's a curveball.
That's totally unexpected for me. That's not actually, I kind of did look at that car when I was looking at SQ5s, but they're cheap on the price range. Are they reliable? I don't know that.
There's plenty of AMG and M113K fanatics out there for you Benz nerds that say that motor is reliable, those cars are reliable, but let's be honest, we're talking about a 13-year-old Mercedes at this point if you get an 06, which was the last year of the 55. So reliable, maybe. Good on gas? No. But fast in a straight line, looks pretty good, sounds good.
Lots of trunk space. Definitely has a lot of trunk space. You could fit the stroller and the groceries in there. Mm-hmm. Probably more trunk space than a Q5 or an SQ5 if you're not counting vertically. Like if I think horizontally in my SQ5, we put the stroller in there and suddenly the whole trunk's gone.
Right.
Probably more trunk space in an E55. It's way faster than an SQ5. And you could probably get a decent example for 15 to 20K, right? And that puts 10K on the table for mods and maintenance, or 10 to 15K
really
for mods and maintenance. But you could do a supercharger. It is safe, very safe. Big, heavy Mercedes. You know, if any sort of accident happens on that thing, the other car's just going to bounce off. Unless you're getting hit by 18-wheeler, then it's probably like an even battle.
Yeah, exactly. No, those things are definitely tanks.
So that was my thought for dad car. The only problem with that would be it's rear-wheel drive.
Yep.
So
and
in
we
the
live
winter,
in New England.
Yeah, you may not have the greatest time. But if you're in a more temperate climate, is that the right word? Temperate?
More
Fair.
Yeah.
Nice. Warm.
realistic climate other than New England, which is just a curveball.
E55 AMG is my thought for under 30K dad car.
I respect it.
I told you I'd throw you a curveball. It's not an Audi. It's not a BMW.
Yeah, well, that's by definition a curveball from you. So I would say that's a great one, if especially if you're a little bit of a DIYer yourself and can get a little dirty with those serpentine belts that go bad. And hey, I mean that stuff's not that bad. That's kind of the least of your worries. But
So E55 AMG or a 30T Q5. I don't think you can really go wrong with the Q5. The E55 you may have to hunt a little harder to find a really good one.
Yeah.
But I think the options are out there, and if you're not in New England, really cool dad car.
Right. And I'm the kind of person where, like, my dad car, though, is hopefully not going to be my only car. You know, would love to have a fun car and would love to have a safe daily that I can take my kids in, whoever, et cetera. So
I just looked at my list. Are
Yep.
you ready to jump to 60K?
I sure am.
What are your thoughts for best dad car under 60K?
So by doubling the original amount here, this adds a whole lot on the table. So essentially what I would say I would go with is probably something in the Macan, Porsche Macan range.
Did not think of that.
See, I think that is the perfect mix between a sports car that you need practicality. You have a kid.
So you can get a Macan Turbo for under 60?
I don't know as far as the Macan turbos for used.
You get an S.
You usually
sure.
get an S with with the performance options, sport exhaust, suspension, PASM, and that car. I mean, I've driven a few Macans myself, anything from the S to the turbo, and every single time I get in one, I'm like, this is such a great driving car. You don't realize you're in an SUV. So,
Really? I didn't think of Macan at all. I'm back on the sedan trend for some reason.
And it looks great.
It does look great. The Macan is so cool. There's one downstairs in the parking garage here. Actually, it may not be there anymore, but roof box and a rear bike rack, black on black with those big yellow brakes.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
awesome cars. Macan, I didn't even think of that. Wow, now I have to follow that. So I had a couple thoughts. The best one for me would obviously be an S6.
Sure.
I just have those on my mind. That's what I want. You could find a really nice one for $45K, and then if the turbos go bad on it, which is like an $8,000 job, you have money left over to cover that.
Yep.
If the turbos don't go bad, you could do RS turbos on it. Suddenly you're making $650 all-wheel in a car for under $60K, including the mod price, hopefully, if you get a good deal on it. So that's like my first thought. But then I thought, you could probably get a Hellcat for under $60K, right?
Wow, you're in a whole nother
I'm on a
league here
rear-wheel
with this,
drive, supercharged V8 kick. You
Yep.
get a Hellcat for under $60K, and that's probably
easily.
That's probably the fastest you can go for under $60K.
But is that a quality in a dad car?
I'm just trying to go fast, man. It definitely has a big trunk, I think. I don't know. Hellcat has a big trunk.
It's practically a boat, right?
Roomy, a Charger, not a Challenger.
Yep.
Roomy inside.
Yep.
Supercharged V8.
It's comfortable, relatively reliable.
You may crash leaving cars and coffee in one of those, though. In an S6, you wouldn't crash. You could spin
Right.
the tires. The thing would still go straight.
Go. An Hellcat, yeah. Even in the not 707 horsepower mode, you'd probably crash.
What about a little bit more refined than a Hellcat, a Cts-V V2?
A V2?
The second generation, the 556, it's the LSA,
Yep,
supercharged V8. I'm really just on a supercharged V8
I know.
rear-wheel
Look at you.
drive kick.
I don't know. These best dad cars are best dad burnout machines. Other
Best
than the
dad
S6,
burnout
but,
machines, yeah.
I think no. I mean, hey, I'm a huge lover of the V2. That's always been a dream car of mine.
Can you get a wagon for under 60K?
No, maybe an auto one, definitely not
a manual one, because those are impossible to find.
If you can even find one.
So what about an automatic CTS-V wagon? Again, horrible if you're in New England.
Horrible
We're
if you're
going
in New
S6
England.
or Macan if you're in New England. But
Right.
if you're anywhere else in the country that maybe doesn't have snow, I guess Colorado and those guys get snow. I guess I should say anywhere else in
If
the
you're in
country
the
that
South.
doesn't have snow. Yeah, if you're in the South, CTS V2 wagon automatic, you could probably put some bolt-ons in it, run a 10, and take your kids to school and get the groceries, stroller, everything.
Exactly. And for those who haven't driven a V2, I mean, that car is so split personality. I mean, you put it in drive and it's just a calm, cool Cadillac.
It's a Cadillac,
cooled Recaro seats, heated also. And then you just put your foot in it and that thing screams and it just goes. It's such an exciting, and I've never been in or driven a car that has such a split personality like that.
So I guess if you're in New England or in snow, our recommendation would be Macan or S6, which are actually more similar than you'd think. I think the Macan probably gets a little better gas mileage because it's not a V8.
It's a 6-cylinder, yeah.
It's an SUV, so you have a little more vertical space.
And
but
more
the
ground
S6
clearance.
is much longer, or at least a little bit longer.
Yeah.
More cabin space, maybe more trunk space.
Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately didn't look up the measurements of the cars before we started here, but yeah, I think that the S6 might have a deeper, longer trunk.
If you put the back seats down in the Macan, though, you can definitely fit, because it's higher.
Oh, well, you'd be able to fit
more
like
stuff
a
in
shelf
there.
or like a TV stand.
You couldn't
or
fit that in
something.
an S6 because it has a rear window.
Yeah, no shot. But hey, it's all about personal preference. We got to come up with a few suggestions here, or else
we're gonna get crucified. Is
Yeah,
there any
we might
JDM
anyway.
cars under 60K that you think? You get a GTR, but that's not really a great dad car. You have to put the seat forward
no,
to get
nothing.
the kids out.
Nothing 2 doors is what I
put
consider.
a baby seat in the back there. I'm looking at my list here. I wrote down a list before. What about a CLS 63 AMG?
Hey, I'm a huge AMG fan. Always been a fanboy till I die, but I don't know what those are trading for right now. It
I found one
depends.
before this. I looked it up. I found one just under 60K, virtually brand new. I think it was a 2016 or something like that.
Yep.
That's a fast car.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think some of those are actually all-wheel drive.
If you get a later year, I think it is all. We both could be wrong. We're neither of us are super Mercedes guys, but you could get an all-wheel drive version, one of those. That's stock for stock. It's probably faster than the S6. The technology is newer. The S6 hasn't been updated in a while.
No.
It is a Mercedes, so you may. It's an Audi twin turbo V8. Those are known for maintenance costs. You might actually be better off in the Mercedes.
It's a crapshoot, right? I mean, it's a toss up.
Yeah,
as far as twin turbo V8. So the only thing I would say about the CLS is the gas mileage. But hey, I mean, we're all car enthusiasts here. I mean,
it doesn't really matter.
Smiles per gallon, right? Not
Exactly.
miles per
If you're
gallon.
doing huge, I guess you're not doing burnouts because it's all-wheel drive, maybe. But if you're launching away from stoplights with your kids, they're laughing in the back. It doesn't matter how much the gasoline costs.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Now, the category that I know you're most excited for, because you had an immediate snap-to reaction. I had to think about this a little bit more. Under $100,000 for a dad car. Alex, I know where you're going with. What are you going with?
There's no doubt in my mind. I look at this car every day, and it's totally a curveball for some, but I'm going with a brand new Jeep Trackhawk.
You could buy it brand new under 100K?
Brand new, I think they start around 85K.
Okay.
Obviously, that's a one that's base. I personally don't like buying new cars. I would always buy a used one that's
fair.
A better deal. But I think for under 100K, I'm going with the Jeep Trackhawk.
That's a way better alternative to the Hellcat that we were talking about.
I mean, it's supercharged, V8, all-wheel drive, comfortable, SUV, ground clearance.
Yeah.
One thing about it, gas mileage.
Yeah,
okay?
gas mileage is no good.
But you buy a CPO one, you buy a certified pre-owned, and...
Well, we're not thinking about gas mileage here. We're not saying best dad gas mileage cars. We're thinking best dad car all around.
You're right. So, personally...
Big trunk space, the back seats fold down.
And that's, it's not, no offense, but it's not like an SQ or a Q5 where it's...
Mika's going to make an appearance in the podcast. If you're watching this on video, this is Mika. She's decided that she's going to go ahead and join us for the rest of the podcast.
Yep. So I think that as far as my car, I'm going with the Trackhawk. So
cool. All right, we're going to cut for 1 second and we'll come back. All right. Well, first cut of our podcast, we had a crying baby in the background, which is part of the reason why we sparked the dad car conversation.
Sure is.
But anyway, jumping into my suggestion for under $100,000 dad car, I'm going RS7.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. That is a great dad car.
Hatchback, kind of. So flip
It's a
top.
hatchback.
You could fit a good amount of golf clubs in there. If you're going
Easily.
golfing, you could fit a stroller in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
good roomy back seats. If you get a newer one, they actually have 3 back seats, I'm pretty sure. The older RS7, or maybe it was just the A7, only had 2 back seats. It didn't have that middle seat.
It's like that Grand Coupe sort of thing, yeah.
I think if you get a newer one, which you can still afford in that price range, it'll have 3 back seats. Lots of rooms for the kids. Looks awesome.
Looks awesome.
Like, has that overall road presence cool factor.
Yep.
All-wheel drive.
It's appropriate for any occasion.
Literally any occasion. It looks professional. It looks sporty. You could go to Cars and Coffee with it. You could go to a business meeting with it, and people wouldn't think less of you. And I think that's true of most of the cars we've chosen. You can go to Cars and Coffee with it or go to a business meeting, and people aren't going to be like, what is that doing here?
Yes.
But I think RS7 is pretty much the perfect car for the under $100,000 price range.
Yep.
My curveball car for under $100,000 would be a Cts-V V3.
Ah, another good one.
Because it's an updated version of the V2. I'm pretty sure from what I've read, it has like a better infotainment system. Like the car overall is just better to interact with. I think it looks better.
Yeah.
I really like the aggressive styling of the V3.
Yeah.
You could do sick burnouts, which impress your kids.
Yeah.
And that's not an LS motor. That's the
LT4 out of the Z06.
Exactly.
And the Z01.
Which they've solved the heat soak issues on, or have
I want to say
created workarounds.
Yeah, I want to say for the first gen Z06s that had the heat soak ECM issue, they have since come out with some remedies to help it, but there are also some internal tuning things that can also help with that. So,
and then I bet you put a big heat exchanger on it, and maybe an external water tank in the trunk.
Exactly.
Well, I guess if you put an ice box or something in the trunk, then it's not as dad car friendly. But Cts-V V3 would be my wild card if you really like want to go sideways or do burnouts with your kids, which you can't do with the track. You probably could with the Trackhawk if you made enough power.
Give me the keys. I'll figure it out.
Keys, exactly. I'm going to double check my list here because I think I had one more option for $100K. What about an S63 AMG?
So at that point, that is a boat. But at that point, you are looking at a used one that's probably out of warranty. I want to say you're looking at that 2013, 2014 S63.
Which is rear-wheel drive still?
I'm going to say yes.
I think it's still rear-wheel drive.
I believe it's still rear-wheel drive. Now, we all know S-Class, best big luxury car there is. You can come at it with a 7 Series, with an A8, S8, whatever. S-Class is the best. It's the king. And because it's the king, it has the comfort features, the safety features, the space.
Now, the only question would be, would it get annoying to have your kids in the back with all of that technology? If they're small and they're in a car seat, who cares? But as they get older,
like 3,
obviously they're going to be
5,
comfortable
6
for road trips and stuff
old,
like that. But is it going to be fun to have your kid in that right rear seat and have them putting the front seat? I'm hit my mic stand. Very unprofessional. To have them putting the front seat forward with the rear controls, or like flipping through whatever setting, changing the AC.
It's not as child friendly as some of the other ones, believe it or not.
But super baller nonetheless. If you pull up to school in an S63 AMG and your kid gets out, they're going to feel like the president.
Yep, absolutely.
Or like a foreign
royalty
dictator or something like that. Yeah, S63 is definitely the most like classy status symbol car that you could buy under $100,000. Maybe not the most reliable, and I guess not the best dad car. But if you're just looking for I'm the coolest dad out there, and I'm a baller also.
Right.
S63 AMG. Hands down. Cooler than an RS7 if you want like that ultimate baller status.
Yep.
Cooler than a Jeep. Because it's a Jeep. Sorry.
But
Jeep's cool.
It's a Trackhawk.
It's a Trackhawk. Very cool. But like if you want that business meeting, like damn, that guy's doing all right. S63 is the way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, you pull up to a business meeting in a Trackhawk. Hey, a Jeep Grand Cherokee of any sort is still a really nice car.
It is. Definitely not a nice. I'm not saying it's not, but
let's put it this way. It looks like a Trackhawk, it's got the wider body and whatnot and the cool aesthetic features, but it still looks like a Grand Cherokee, which is a $45,000 car, $50,000 car, whatever it is.
And when you pull away from that business meeting, this is true in the RS7 too, and you hit that start button and it goes, rah.
Yep.
And like everybody else turns and looks at you versus the S63 when you start up, it has like a little subtle growl.
Yep.
Like so much more. Anyway, we're getting totally sidetracked. I'm thinking, what's the best executive car? Now, what's the best dad car?
Yeah.
So, $30K. Just to recap, we said Q5.
Yep.
Or an E55. $60K. We said S6 for me, and for you,
I said the Macan.
the Macan, right? I don't know why I forgot that. This is not a long podcast. I should remember that. Then $100K, Alex is going Trackhawk, I'm going RS7, and the executive super baller businessman is going S63 AMG. We'd love to hear what you guys have to think. If you're listening to us on Spotify, first of all, we made it. Which I've said in the last episode too. But if you're listening on Spotify, that's exciting. We got to celebrate again. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and drop us a comment. And if you're not on YouTube, make sure to check us out. It's on the YouTube channel IgnitionTube. Let us know what your thoughts are for the best dad car under 30, under 60, and under $100,000. What is, and I guess we'll finish with this. This is kind of a curveball question.
Yep.
What is the ultimate baller dad car?
Ultimate baller dad car.
Rolls-Royce Phantom. No?
No, not going to go for it.
I guess I'm thinking if you get like chauffeured versus like.
Here's one. Aston Martin Rapide S.
I was thinking Rapide too.
I think that, hey, and that's a, theoretically a budget car given the realm of cars we're talking about. You still get them. You can get them under 100K now.
Can you?
Oh, yeah. You can get a used Rapide under 100K.
Is this a curveball for 100K? A Rapide S?
Look, you're begging, you're knocking on the door of unreliability.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But your kids are going to think you're James Bond dad.
But if you're trying to be a baller dad, and you're going to pretty much convince your kids that you are James Bond.
That's the move. Okay, so forget everything we just said. Rapide is the way to go if you live in a rear-wheel drive friendly client.
Yeah.
Climate, not client. Sorry, I'm still thinking S63. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you give a thumbs up if you're watching the video. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Go out there and spread some positivity, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
See ya.
Bye.